amid ongoing trade war between the United States and China. U.S. President Donald Trump and China's Xi Jinping have spoken over a call. As per Beijing's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the call was initiated by Trump. Trump has reportedly been eager to speak with Xi, as strained trade relations between the two countries frayed further in the past week. While Washington and Beijing temporarily lowered tariffs on each other's goods following constructive talks in Switzerland last month, that tentative agreement has since come under threat. The Trump administration has publicly accused Beijing of slow-walking its pledge to approve the export of more critical minerals, a result of the negotiations in Geneva. China, meanwhile, has expressed deep frustration with a recent decision to impose new restrictions on Chinese student visas. It has also accused the Trump administration of undermining recent trade progress by issuing an industry warning against using Chinese semiconductors. The Trump administration has also imposed additional export restrictions on chips. The White House claims the actions are required to protect national security, but Beijing views them as punitive. This is only the second time this year that the two leaders have held a one-on-one call. Trump and Xi previously spoke on January 17th, prior to the U.S. president's inauguration. Stocks market slid after the two spoke amid their trade war, while the European Central Bank signaled an end to its rate cut cycle. Now we have Roger Liu. He's an assistant professor at National Sun Yat-sen University, joining us live from Taipei. Thank you, thank you for joining us today. Why did Trump initiate this call now? And what does this timing tell us about the state of U.S.-China relations?
For having me. Well, although we read from Xinhua News Agency, which is the mouthpiece of the CCP, that it is the U.S. side which initiates the call, but we will have to keep it in suspicion because we don't know whether this is true, because usually whenever there's a dialogue happening between U.S. and China, or China and other countries, it is usually in the Chinese narrative, the other side which initiates the call, because nobody wants to lose in the waiting game. So I think Xi Jinping has been trying to show his he being strong and the CCP being strong in this waiting game. But I think Donald Trump has been doing, the US side has been doing a lot to force China to view its request to have talks on tariffs as soon as possible. We can see what happened during the past few weeks, that China has been, the US has been trying to revoke the international students' visa, mainly in Harvard University, where a lot of Chinese scholars and students attended. And the Wall Street Journal actually had a recent story regarding calling Harvard University as a party school for the CCP. And yesterday was the anniversary of the Tiananmen Square incident on June the 4th, which usually been viewed as a taboo in the Chinese politics. And the US have been very actively mentioned this in different occasions regarding the Chinese massacres of their students and their workers 30-something years before. So I think, all the US have done has been trying to bring China's attention and to have some breakthrough on the tariff talks, to open up the markets for the US products, and to make sure that the Chinese view them in a serious way.
Moving forward, I would like to also ask, this was their first formal call since Trump took office. Is that a sign of diplomatic dysfunction or strategic distance?
Well, this is the second one, according to the record. The first one happened on the 17th of January. So, if you go back to the functioning of the international politics, the calls between the leaders actually are the signals, the political signal more than the substantial ones, because we know now a delegation of the U.S. is in Beijing and they're meeting the Vice Chairman Han Zheng and trying to figure out something. So I think this actually has been sending a signal, a positive signal, to create a positive atmosphere for the delegations, for the U.S. delegations in Beijing to begin their talks with China. But I think it will take some time, because there are a lot of items on their plates that they have to go through. So this actually is good, but what will happen in the weeks or the days to come actually is up to to see.
And thank you for correcting me earlier. And Roger, is direct leader-to-leader diplomacy between Xi and Trump likely to break the trade deadlock or just add to the uncertainty here?
Well, I think generally it's hard because, in the big picture, we see that the U.S. and China has stepped up their escalations of conflict in a variety of aspects for the two great powers. However, we still see some hopes. For example, when it comes to the tech export control, we can see that although the U.S. has been trying to suppress Huawei and other big tech companies, but recently, if you keep notice to what's happening, you can see that Xiaomi actually launched the latest generation of chips, the X-Ring 01, and this actually is taking the 3 nanometer, the advanced process, and it was produced by TSMC. 2 years or 3 years before, when Huawei launched their Mate 60 phone, which is taking the 7 nanometer process, it was cracked down by the Biden administration. But so far, we didn't see the U.S. government of saying anything against this. So I think they're creating a leeway for the future possibilities for the two sides to talk and to exchange their conditions for better negotiations. So, there might be, and there are likely to be some breakthroughs. We will see some loosening up of some items, but it's still up to see unless China is willing to sacrifice a lot to open up their markets, to let enough U.S. investments and commodities in. I will be more pessimistic about what will happen for the future.
And according to you, is Trump's strategy of mixing praise and pressure with Xi a winning formula or a diplomatic risk?
It's hard to tell. Recently the U.S. Firms and some, especially among the investors, they have coined a term taco. Trump always chickens out. So that actually is not a good sign, because this is from the investors. And according to their statistics, among the 22 strong statement made by Donald Trump, only 2 actually has been materialized. So that is not a good record for Donald Trump. So I think the Chinese is seeing that as well. So it's more rational for them to wait longer for the future to see what Donald Trump will be doing. And so far, what he has been doing, Donald Trump, has been viewed as disruptions on important issues and items. And even among the Americans themselves, they view that some policies taken by Donald Trump has been very disruptive and might be harmful for the U.S. National interest. So we still need to see what kind of items will be negotiated and what kind of breakthroughs will be attained for the